In Harar, a medieval walled city in eastern Ethiopia, 500 kilometers away from the capital Addis Ababa, humans and hyenas have developed an unusual codependent relationship that's been centuries in the making. In a dark field on the outskirts of Harar, Abbas Yusuf squats on his haunches, a bucket of meat scraps by his side. Among the locals of Harar, Yusuf is known simply as a hyena man, a title inherited from his father, Yusuf Saleh, who began feeding hyenas in the 1960s to protect his livestock. The weak headlights of tuk-tuk cast a pale, blush halo over him from the surrounding gloom. 15 sets of golden eyes glimmer with excitement, holding out a chunk of meat in his hand. The young man lets out a series of eerie whistles until a huge spotted hyena skulks out of the darkness. The animal snaps the flesh away greedily with bone-crushing jaws before treating a few steps. Yusuf hurls a few scraps into the waiting crowd circling around him, while the clan of hyenas fight over the offcuts. Yusuf wraps a fresh chunk around a short stick, placing it between his clenched teeth, and begins to feed them face to face. The large female returns to feed. The others wait patiently, whooping and cackling. Yusuf shows no signs of fear, his face an expressionless mask. As Africa's second largest predator bites just inches from his nose. Over time, Saleh became familiar with the wild animals, naming them and even luring some into his sum to feed. Today, from a small hill behind his home, littered with animal bones, picked clean and forgotten, Yusuf continues the tradition which has become popular with tourists and Ethiopians from all over the country. Sitting on the wall of a Muslim shrine by the feeding site, Yusuf 25 recounts how he began this unusual line of work, assisting his father at the age of 15 in what would become an almost nightly ritual. He learned the animals' behavior and how to communicate with them through whistles and calls. He explains that his father retired in 2015, leaving Yusuf to take over as Harar's Hyena Man. Harar's bizarre relationship with spotted hyenas stretches back centuries, its origins hazily entrenched in myth and tradition. Local legend tells of a long, bloody dispute between humans and hyenas during a harsh famine. Desperate to stop the hungry hyenas raiding the city, a group of elders began to feed the animals a thick, buttery porridge. Over the centuries, the hyena feeding has become entwined with local Islamic belief. The locals feed this porridge to the hyenas once a year at special shrines around the city. It is linked to the Islamic festival of Al Ashura. If the animals eat the porridge, there will be no trouble. It is a very good omen. The practice is believed to date back to the deposition of Emir Osman al-Habashi, ousted in the 16th century of despotism, says Nod Tedla, a local guide. The ritual still takes place today during the 10th day of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic calendar. According to legend, the city's thick perimeter walls were altered to give the animals easy access to Harar, allowing entry through small openings or hyena doors. Some claim the hyena ride Harar of evil spirits or jinn, and that they clean away the rotting garbage, stone access its streets, walk the streets of Harar late enough, and encounters are still common, claimed Tedla. Whatever the origins for the feeding, it's clear that the Harar people have a special relationship with these wild animals. Locals claim there hasn't been an attack on a human in over 200 years, while nearby villages regularly report clashes with hyenas, some being fatal. The people here are not afraid of hyenas. In fact, you can sometimes see that it's the other way around. It's better to say that there is a respect between them. The road by the side of the feeding site led into the countryside. Many people use it in the dark, says Tedla.
If we stop for a while, the hyena would get hungry and they might destroy our property or attack our goats and cattle and eat them. So we have to keep feeding them every day.
The porridge they feed the hyena every year has religious significance. They believe when they feed the hyenas, they can predict the year's weather. If it will be a good year or a bad year.